You're listening to the Hope Not Nope podcast
with Doc Dylan
and Brandy.
We empower high performers with a 3-part strategy of hope,
Self-agency, goals, and proven frameworks,
so that you can reach your potential
and the highest quality of life. How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Hope Not Nope podcast. Our listener named Mary asks us, I'm training for my first triathlon and started to ramp up my swim training. Should I prioritize pool sessions for technique and fitness or spend more time in open water to prepare for race conditions?
You know, a lot of times it's a loaded answer and it depends. And this one, there definitely is variables to consider. But Mary, hands down, I would say get out in the open water. The biggest reason why is that why do we train and why do we use the principle of specificity for our training? One, to prep for the demands that are going to be on race day or game day or match day. But then two, so that we're decreasing the uncertainty that the nervous system has going into an event. If you have not done that and you face a new stressor that hasn't been met before on top of a bunch of other stressors, your nervous system can start to get more into a prediction of threat and preservation instead of let's perform. And those are two different states to be in. And at the start of a triathlon and a swim, you don't want to be in the preservation mode. You want to be in a, hey, I got this. If you face something somewhat unexpected, but you have done the prep to be ready for it, then your system is able to adapt to that stressor better. Open water training gives you some of those variables that swimming in a controlled environment in a pool will not. And I'll share a quick story that's pretty funny. One of my buddies was training for a triathlon, and he was predominantly using the pool because it was easily accessible. He was able to get in there, get his workout in, and he was ready for the distance. He went the day of the triathlon, and afterwards I was catching up with him. Hey man, how'd it go? Well, yeah, it went well, but for the swim for the first quarter mile, I went in the wrong direction.
Oh, what?
And you're like, how'd you go in the wrong direction? You're in a group of people. And he was used to the pool, and most pools that you're training in, they have a marker along the bottom of the pool, like a black line, or you have like the buoys next to you, so you know where you are in the pool. If you drift off a little bit, when you start to do your stroke, you hit one of those buoys, so you know that you're getting off track. Mm-hmm. So you have two different cues letting you know that you're staying in your lane. In open water, you don't have that. The water's murky. You can't see to the bottom. You think that you're with the group and going in the right direction, but yeah, he swam off a good distance in the wrong direction, not knowing that was happening.
That is wild.
And a lot of people are like, how do you not know that's happening? Again, when you're in open water, it's competition. It was his first time doing a triathlon. Like, it sounds funny, but these things, if you haven't prepped for them, they can just take you completely off course come race day. So the open water, one, you got to get used to the murkiness and knowing what a straight line of swimming feels like. The pool gives you cues for you to fix that. But in open water, do you have a feel for that? Are you pulling one side harder? Like a lot of times people are right side dominant. So when they go to do their stroke, their arm enters the water and they're pulling back, their right side lat is stronger. So they get a stronger pull into the water, which helps them move further horizontally. Then their left side, it enters the water, they go to pull back. If it's not as forceful, it's not as strong as that right side, or if the legs, if there's a leg dominance and one's kicking more than the other one, you very easily can start to drift off course.
And for the distance that is, a drift can be like detrimental.
A little drift can turn into a long drift.
Yeah.
And granted, like they have people out there for safety telling you, but you don't want to go any further distance than what you need to do for a triathlon. Like you don't want to add on to it because you're drifting off. It's the same thing. Like let's take it to running, right? Hey, you're going to run this amount of mileage. Do you want to run that mileage on a path that you're staying on or one that you're drifting off of and then coming back on? Like you don't want to add extra.
Speaking from personal experience.
Speaking of personal experience.
For our listeners that don't know, years ago we shared it in one of our podcast episodes, but Dylan was at a competition that had running and a group of guys completely got off course and didn't realize it. So they ran probably an extra mile?
An extra mile and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So Dylan
Yeah.
has the experience of drifting off the running course as well.
Yeah, it's not a good experience because you run so hard thinking that, hey, I paced this appropriately. I'm almost to the finish line. And now we're in the middle of the woods with a stream going by and people going that in my group of, we got to swim across it. Like they have lifeguards, they have like medical professionals. You don't think they're going to put somebody where the swimming would be in this? Like we are off course. And then you realize that whoever finishes last out of your group is going to finish last for that event. So
Mhm.
now you're running back a mile onto course, and we had a mile left because it was supposed to be a 2 mile run. So now you're running that at like 90% of your max heart rate, just trying to catch up to like not get last place
Right.
and bury yourself in the competition. So you want to do everything you can to not get off course, and training in open water will help you to start understanding a little bit more of your swim mechanics. Are you pulling one side faster than the other side? The other big thing too that open water provides that a pool does not is a pool is more controlled. There's less waves.
Mm.
You get to open water, and depending on where this is going to be, like is it in a lake, is it in an ocean? But you want to understand currents and you want to understand the waves because coming up to get a breath in a pool is a lot easier than coming up to get a breath when you have a wave coming at your face. And
Yeah.
you don't want to spend the first part of your triathlon swallowing a bunch of water, wondering if you're going to make it through because you haven't been exposed to that and you haven't learned where do you get your breath when there is waves or a current coming at you. And the last point I would put into this too is the reason that you want to train that in open water. And part of it too, I want to add in that it does like do it safely. Like when
Yes.
you're going to open water, make sure there's a lifeguard. Make sure the lifeguard knows that you're swimming and that you're saying, hey, keep eyes on me. If you have a training partner, have them on a paddleboard or a kayak that is near you that can be with you as you're swimming to make sure that you're doing okay. A pool's more controlled, it's safer.
Yeah.
It's easier for a lifeguard to be at a pool and look and see where people are at. So when you go to do open water training, like make sure you're doing it not on your own, but that you have people with you.
Would you recommend that? So I'm just asking, I'm hearing all this, and honestly, the first thing I'm thinking is I have no desire to ever do a triathlon,
Mhm.
but that's because I'm not a great swimmer. For Mary, with this specific situation, it sounds like, I don't know, if you're training for a triathlon, you probably already have swam before. But someone like myself who maybe, oh, I want to do a triathlon, but I've never swam, would you recommend starting in a pool to
Yeah.
like, I don't know, learn the techniques and almost have a safer environment and then eventually training in open water? If you're someone like me who like, I'm not really a strong swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it comes down to graded exposure.
sure.
And when you're learning something new, you want to be in a safe environment with controllables and you want to decrease the risk.
Hmm.
So, yeah, starting off, like you want to start training in a pool. You want to build up your mileage in a pool. Then, most triathlons are not happening in a pool. So if you're going the triathlon route, like now you got to start looking at what are the competition demands and how do I increase the specificity into this of like, I got the distance down. I can swim that distance. I'm comfortable. My swim mechanics feel good enough. All right, now let's take it to where you're going to have to perform it, which is a different environment. The other thing in a pool versus open water is you don't have seaweed around you
Oh yeah.
like at your feet. And, if you've never had a fish swim by you before and it's the first time and it's competition, like that can give you the heebie-jeebies.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, you have to build it in a safe environment first, which is going to be the pool. But then there has to be that progression before the race comes that you've been in open water, you've experienced open water, because the variable that you're not going to be able to add in is my assumption is that the triathlon's not sending you out in single heats of, okay, you go, now you go.
Right.
You have a group of people jumping in the water and going at the same time. There's gonna be people pulling your legs. There's gonna be people hitting your arms. There's gonna be people accidentally dunking you, some accidentally, some not accidentally.
Yeah. That's the
There's some
competition.
savages, and the water is the place that they can get away with some of it,
Yeah, the
the most
dirty.
savage trick
Yeah, yeah.
in there, whether it's intentional or not intentional. But you're not going to be able to train that too much in your practice unless you have a group.
Yeah.
And it's like that. So you want to make sure you've taken care of all the other controllables so that when that does happen, again, you're able to stay in performance mode versus self-preservation mode.
Right. I also think of like if you live in the area that you're doing the triathlon versus traveling to a
Hmm.
location, you can probably go and swim at that specific body of water that the triathlon is planning on using.
Right.
I know there's a triathlon here in upstate New York that they actually, at a state park, they actually have the lanes
Mm,
um already like marked off and you can like swim in open water, but then there's also like there's the lanes for it. I
right.
don't know how they use it specifically for the triathlon, but I think it's pretty cool that um like I don't know how I don't know how they use it for the triathlon, but I know that you can swim in that same water, so at
Right.
least it's something, right?
That's like a great progression of graded exposure, right? Start in a pool.
Mm-hmm.
You have the cue from the bottom of the pool and the lanes. Now, the next graded exposure would be being in open water but having the lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And now the next graded exposure would be being in open water without the lanes
Yeah.
in there. So like
And
that's
then
ideal. Like
the
that's
next would
awesome.
be if you have like five friends that can swim with you,
Yeah.
all of you going at once.
Bunch up,
Yeah.
hand slapping, scratching, pulling the ankles. Like, man, a lot of people, oh, the triathlons are the nicest people. Not in the water.
No. Eh,
It's like
That does not sound fun to me.
being on the sports med side and seeing, I'll call them the, make it dramatic, the flesh wounds
Mm,
that come out of the water, just the scratches
yeah.
and the like the stories of like, yeah, someone kept pulling my ankle. Like someone kept doing this and that. I'm like, man, people are in the water and they're just trying to do anything they can to like get out of
Yeah.
that water. And I keep saying, you know, like preservation mode versus performance mode. And I think quickly I want to touch on like why does that matter? Well, it matters because your heart rate,
Mm,
right? Like you have a long competition. You have the swim, you have the run, you have the bike, and you don't want to get your heart rate jacked up too fast too soon. Like physiologically, that doesn't set you up for success the rest of it. And you don't want it to get jacked up because you're being exposed to things that you have not been exposed to before and that it's happening out of fear. Like you want to be able to be in control of your heart rate. And if you haven't practiced in open water and it's your first time going in open water in the competition, your heart rate's going to go higher just because of the threat perception, not because of your physiological training.
mm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
Does every triathlon go swim, run, bike?
Uh, the smart ones, yes.
Yeah, the smart ones,
Yeah.
just for like safety
For safety,
purposes.
for safety
Gotcha.
purposes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's like traditionally what's been done and honestly what should be
should be.
done.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, triathlons.
Yeah.
Do you want to do one, Dr. Dylan?
No.
Same.
No.
It's fat.
Ma-
Any high performance, any athletic thing is just so awesome to like watch
yeah.
and be a participant in that sense of it. But there's just certain things that I don't, I wouldn't necessarily like thrive in,
Yeah.
and that sounds like one of them.
No, well, we've been able to work with world-class triathlon athletes
Hmm.
and sprint triathlon. Like, there's levels to this thing. It's not just a triathlon. You can go do a sprint
Yeah.
triathlon, and then you can do a 10 man, and then an Ironman. Like, you can keep going. And I admire the athletes that do that. Do I think that I'd be able to do it? Yeah. Do I want to train for it? No, it's not one of my goals.
Yeah.
And the amount of dedication it takes to get good at swimming, at biking, and running, the
Hmm.
time investment and the equipment matters, especially for the bike.
Hmm.
And like, you got to put not like a ton of money, but like you got to have a good bike in
Yeah.
order to be successful in it. And it's these athletes are incredibly disciplined and awesome people. It takes a lot of dedication and cool. In this stage in life, I'm not that I don't have the dedication or discipline. I'm just dedicated and disciplined to other things.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, you're dense. You don't
Mhm.
really float.
Don't float.
Like, like in a pool, you do not float at all.
No, no, I've tried
Yeah.
because obviously some of the population that we work with in the special operations, they have to tread water.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I want to learn how to do it so I can understand it and I can coach it better and I can rehab it better. And I know it can be done. I'm terrible at it. I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, bring the air in, hold up the lungs, like got it. But I just sink. I
Yeah.
just sink and I'll get better at it. But yeah, it's just again, love what people can do in the water. I used to think water polo was like the dumbest sport, and
It's
it
pretty
was because I
impressive.
didn't realize that they weren't standing in the pool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were treading water the entire time and swimming, and that they're not allowed for their feet to touch the bottom
Right.
of the pool. I don't think their feet could touch the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
But when I learned that, it went in my perception of being the dumbest sport to one of the most impressive sports.
Yeah.
Like you're treading water, this guy's trying to dunk you, or this girl's trying to dunk you. You're rising up and whipping this ball. This goalie's somehow jumping from treading really fast and blocking this ball. Like it's crazy
Yeah.
the amount of endurance capacity, strength, and power that is needed in
Hmm.
water polo. So shout out to the water polos. I am sorry I did not understand your sport when I was younger.
You're very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a hope story for this week?
I think yes, yes, I do have a hope story. But one quick thing that kind of wraps up that segment too is I was working with one athlete who's a phenomenal triathlete and like world class, and her training partner would it was basically like, yeah, I'll do this with you, and like I'll try to keep up. Um, this dude was just a power fiber though.
Mm.
And yes, you can train different capacities, like you can improve your aerobic capacity, your efficiency, but there is parts that are like this athlete's more of a type 2 fiber-based athlete than a type 1. Like there's a predisposition that makes people a little bit better at a, not saying that it can't be trained one way or another, but he was just a power fiber trying to do endurance.
Mm.
It's like we got to get you sprinting.
Yeah.
You are you are fast. Like no, it's like 26.2 miles. No, 100 meters.
Hmm.
Go. Crushed it. Never signed up for anything, but unofficial time had a state record from the sprint that he did. And I was like, dude, you're a power fiber. And I feel like that's how I am.
Mm.
Like I'm a power fiber who tries to do endurance,
Yeah.
and-
You're good at endurance
but
though.
I can do it. But that's just like biting down and
Yeah.
just getting it done.
Yeah. Where I feel like I'm more endurance
Yeah.
based versus power based, even though I'd love to be better at power.
Yeah.
I'd also love to be better at endurance, but I don't want to swim. So,
Right. Yeah. So for the hope story for Mary, if you haven't gotten your capacity up for swimming at all, start in a pool. It's safer, it's a controlled environment. But then after you do that, you do need to get in the open water before competition happens to start to decrease the uncertainties of waves, of currents, of seaweed. If there's any animals that are floating around in it, getting used to the breath in the water, all those things that we talked about that you have to, you best to perform at your best, you should take that next step of then
mhm.
going to open water, but make sure that you have people with you that it's safe for you to be in open water, especially the first few times
Yeah.
they do it. Because I don't, open water, it's still swimming. To me, it's way scarier than the pool for a lot of
Yeah,
reasons.
it's
So
terrifying.
make sure that you have someone with you. I think it's still recording.
Should we check?
Yeah.
Sorry, potential spam called you.
Yeah, we're still good.
Okay,
That'll just be a weird edit.
that's
So
fine.
I have to put it on do not. I don't think I put it back in do not disturb.
Okay.
All right. So that being said, hope
Well,
story time.
why don't you just refinish the like just say like make sure you have someone with you
Okay.
again, like that part, and then go into the hope story
All right.
for the safety. Like you're talking about the safety of it when it
Mhm.
happened, so I don't know where that got cut off.
Okay. And then when you get into the open water, make sure that you have somebody with you for safety.
Hmm.
That person's with you. Hope story time.
Yes, hope story.
So hope story. So the last week, one of the weeks, I was
Recently.
recently I was at a conference that was put on by the United States Army related to human performance. And very simply, what I want to say is that it is so awesome. Like our one of our core beliefs is that, simply stated, humans matter,
Yeah.
and you have to treat the human being
Yeah.
and its spirit, mind, and body, and not just one aspect of those. It is the full being that needs to be cared for, seen, loved, treated, coached, whatever they have going on. And as we move into this modern era where there's a ton of technology and, war can be ever changing. You read the Old Testament and it's like swords,
Hmm.
right? And then there's weapons, and now there's AI and robots and drones. And, very much people could just be like, hey, let's like invest into the technologies, and seeing and hearing that what matters the most to us still as a country is the human
Mm-hmm.
is very empowering and awesome.
Yeah.
And I completely agree.
Yeah.
Not that it matters if I agree or disagree with that,
Yeah.
but it was just really cool. And anyone that is a currently serving or a veteran, I think for them to hear that is also
Yeah.
uplifting and exciting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in the world that and in our country specifically that we can allow ourselves to get discouraged or distracted by. But this like simple statement that the people who are like protecting us in our country, what matters most is like the human is something that I probably wouldn't have expected, but
Mhm.
two, like what a valuable thing and a valuable lesson that we can all take from it.
Yeah, and I'll say too, it's public knowledge, so we can share this that it wasn't just said, but the Secretary of War, Mr. Peter Belk, he signed this policy
Hmm.
document, and he's like, policy is just a policy until resources are put behind it, and we are backing this, and
Yeah.
we are doing this, which is awesome.
It's so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. God bless the USA.
yeah,
And thank you for all who listening that have served, or thank you to your family members and friends who have served. Like we love you all so much and we appreciate you all so much.
100%. And the other most important thing is winning,
Yeah.
which I was like, oh, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I am behind both of those. Humans are awesome and winning is also awesome.
Winning matters.
Yeah.
Yes. Have a great week. And remember, high performance isn't just about using the strategy of hope, it's about becoming hope.
Thank you for listening to the Hope Not Nope podcast. Please subscribe and share this episode. This podcast is for educational and personal development purposes only and is not considered health or medical advice. For personalized support, connect with a Hope Coach at hopenotnope.org.